relationship with Faith from his daughter had contributed significantly to the whole mess. On the very evening Troy had planned to ask Faith to marry him, Megan had miscarried her first pregnancy. As luck would have it, Troy, who'd been with Faith, had turned off his cell phone. His guilt had been overwhelming. The baby had meant everything to Megan and Craig, especially so soon after Sandy's death. In retrospect, Troy saw that he'd completely mishandled the situation. Immediately after Megan's miscarriage, he'd broken off the relationship with Faith. He'd acted out of remorse, but he hadn't taken Faith's feelings into account. Her shock and pain haunted him to this day. He'd dedicated himself to his daughter and her needs ever since. That didn't mean he'd stopped thinking about Faith. Far from it. Thoughts of her filled his every waking moment. To complicate this already complicated situation, Faith had sold her Seattle home and moved to Cedar Cove to be closer to her son Scott and to Troy. Seeing her around town these days was torture. Faith had made it clear that she wanted nothing to do with him. Troy didn't blame her. "I have that missing persons file for you, Sheriff." Cody Woodchase stepped into his office and set the folder in Troy's in-basket. "Thanks," Troy murmured. "You checked the appropriate dates?" Cody nodded, dutifully efficient. "And came up blank. The only major case I can personally recall was Daniel Sherman a few years back." Troy was well aware of the outcome. His old high school friend had walked away from his family for no apparent reason. He'd simply vanished. The case had bothered Troy for well over a year. As it turned out, Dan had committed suicide, his body eventually found in the woods. "That one was solved," Troy pointed out. "I remember," Cody said. "Anyway, I pulled all the pertinent missing persons files and printed them out for you." "Thanks." Troy reached for the folder as soon as Cody left his office. Cedar Cove was fortunate enough to have a low crime rate. Oh, there was the occasional public disturbance, domestic violence now and then, a break-in, a drunk driver, the sort of crime common to any small town. There was a mystery every once in a while, too. The biggest that came to mind was the man who'd shown up at Time and Tide, the Beldens' B&B. The stranger had the misfortune to die that very night. But that case, which was actually a murder, had been solved too. And now, the human remains found just before Christmas. According to the autopsy, they were those of a young man, a teenage boy between the ages of 14 and 18. Based on those bones, there was no obvious cause of death, no blunt force trauma, for instance. He'd been dead for as long as 25 to 30 years. 25 to 30 years. Troy had been with the department back then, untested and eager to prove himself. Sandy was pregnant after miscarrying twice, optimistic that this time they'd have their baby. If a missing teenager had been reported in the late 70s or early 80s, Troy was confident he would have remembered it. The files Cody had printed out indicated that he was right. Not a single case involving a missing teenager, male or female, had been left unresolved. To be on the safe side, he checked 5 years before and 5 years after. 12 boys, mostly runaways, had been reported missing in that time. They'd all been found, either returning of their own accord or located by friends, relatives, or the authorities. Surely this young man had family, a mother and father, who must have wondered and waited in anguish. Troy closed his eyes and tried to think of boys he'd known during that time. Random names and faces rushed through his mind. Around 1985, he recalled, Cedar Cove High School had won the state baseball championship. He could picture the first baseman, Robbie something, and Weaver, one of his deputies now, who'd been the team's star pitcher. Troy had attended all the playoff games. Sandy had gone with him, and although